Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to more SHD. Now in today's video, I'm going to bring you guys my 2024-25 Championship table predictions. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 50 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 200 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Where do you think your team will finish this season? Who do you think will be relegated and who do you think will be promoted into the Premier League? Now I was thinking about maybe making this a main channel video for the channel members, but I've kind of done different predictions for different sort of people to be able to see it. League 2 was public on the main channel, League 1 and Premier League is for tier 3 channel members on the main channel, and then we've got my championship table predictions on more SHD. But make sure to drop a like on there for me, subscribe if you're new as well, and let's get into it. In at 24th position then, I have gone with Plymouth Argyle. They finished 21st last season, just about avoiding relegation by one single point. And I look at their transfer activity, and obviously the big news that Wayne Rooney is going to be their manager for probably only about 5 games this season. But at the moment, he is their manager. I simply cannot see anyone other than Plymouth Argyle, apart from maybe 23rd, finishing at rock bottom. I look at their transfer business and I feel like there's a real lack of quality in there. I don't think their squad was blessed with quality last season, apart from maybe Morgan Whittaker. I look at their departures. Michael Cooper joining at Sheffield United for around £2.5 million or something like that is a very, very significant loss for the football club. Even Dan Scarr has been a very experienced central defender for them over the last couple of seasons. I know he wasn't really championship standard, but I look at the quality in that Plymouth side and the quality around the rest of this division, and unfortunately think Plymouth will be relegated this season, and I think they'll finish rock bottom. In 23rd position then, I have gone with Derby County. Unfortunately, I think the Rams will be going back down this season into League 1. I think obviously last season they finished second in the table. They've come this year, and I look at their recruitment and I'm not massively impressed with it so far, to be fair. I know there's still plenty of time left in the transfer window, around 2 weeks or so. I really do like the permanent signing of Ebu Adams. They've brought in some good experience with the likes of Ben Osborne, Caden Jackson, signing for the football club. I don't see Jackson scoring anywhere near double figures though this season. Jerry Yates on loan hasn't really proved it in the Championship so far, but did very well in League 1 with Blackpool. I look at their departures, obviously Louis Sibley joining Oxford, Joe Wildsmith as well joining West Brom. No real significant departures in there. Conor Horahan went down back into League 1 with Barnsley, but on the whole for me, I don't think they're going to have enough this season to stay up, so I'm backing Derby County to unfortunately be relegated, and I'd put it largely down to Paul Warne. I just think he plays too direct. There's not enough goals in that side. I think they are going to struggle this season, so I'm backing Derby to finish in 23rd. In 22nd position then, and the final team who I believe will be relegated, I've gone with Blackburn Rovers. They avoided relegation last season by 3 single points. Sam Schmodic scored well over 30 goals, and he has today joined Ipswich Town for an undisclosed fee around £9 million, rising up to 11. I've just realised the camera's gone out of focus. Let's hope that it comes back while I'm talking about Blackburn. Maybe it's not very happy that I believe they will be relegated. I do like the signing of Andreas Weimann joining the football club, very experienced centre forward. To be fair, they've brought in a few others from I think Japan and Belgium, who obviously I had no idea about their quality. Sam Gallagher also joined Stoke, but he's never really proven it at Blackburn, to be fair. I look at their squad, I just don't think there is enough quality in there for them to be successful this season. I think you look at how poor they were last season, and they had a 30-goal season striker. This season without him, I do think they are going to massively struggle, so unfortunately I am going to back Blackburn Rovers to be relegated this season. In 21st position then, I'm going with probably a little bit of a shock here. I'm going Preston at North End. Now obviously last season they finished in 10th and weren't too far away from the playoffs, in all honesty. They only finished 10 points outside of it, but they were well above relegation. I say well above, they're only 13 points above relegation, but they lost their final 5 games of last season. They've sacked their manager after just one game week this season, Ryan Law. I know he wasn't the most popular figure there. I look at their transfer business as well. There's not much in terms of incomings, to be fair, nothing to really get too excited about. They've also lost Alan Brown, which is a very significant loss in my personal opinion. He has joined Championship rivals Sunderland AFC, so I think Preston are really going to struggle this season. I'm not too sure how they're going to go about replacing Ryan Lowe, but I'm backing them to have a massive fall off this season. I don't think they'll quite be relegated, but I'm going to back Preston to finish in 21st. In 20th place, I have gone with Swansea City. They finished at 14th last season, avoiding relegation by just 7 single points, and I look at their transfer business again this season, and I'm not majorly impressed. A lot of recruitment from overseas. They've brought in Lawrence Vigouroux from Burnley on a permanent transfer. Obviously, I do think that is a decent signing. They've lost Nathan Wood though. He's finally made that step up into the Premier League. I can't believe he's only 22 years of age. It feels like he's been around for absolutely forever. They've lost Jerry Yates and Nathaniel Ogbeta to two other Championship sides, them going out on loan and on a free transfer respectively, but they clearly weren't in Luke Williams' plans for this season. I do think it is going to be a little bit of a drop-off for the Swans this season. We might even see Luke Williams lose his job. I think there are some potential positive signs there, but as of right now, unfortunately, I'm backing Swansea City to finish in 20th. In 19th position then, I've gone with Millwall FC. They've not really done too much transfer business so far. They finished last season in 13th. They won a crazy amount of games once Neil Harris returned to the football club. They won a minimum of their last 5 in a row and finished ending up about 9 points above the relegation drop zone. But I think it will be a little bit more of a steady season for Millwall. Again, in no real threat of relegation, but I think they will be down and around there. I do like the signing of Macaulay Langstaff. Obviously scored a load of goals in the National League North, National League and League Two. She's now making that step up into the Championship. A very significant jump, may I add. I do also like the signing of Liam Roberts. He comes in on a free transfer from Middlesbrough. They brought back Jaffet Tanganga as well to the football club on a permanent basis. I think their recruitment has been solid. Lucas Jensen as well comes in from Lincoln. I think that's a very, very good sign. They're recruiting in the lower leagues, and I do like them two additions, to be fair. But if Langstaff isn't scoring goals, he doesn't really offer you much off the ball, and I'm not too sure if he's a Neil Harris type. I think Langstaff would have been much better suited at Swansea City, so I could certainly see him flopping there. On the whole though, I don't think Millwall will be in any real trouble of relegation, so I'm going to back them to finish in 19th. In 18th place, I'm going with Oxford United. Now this one might be a little bit of a shock to a lot of people, to be fair, but I'm so impressed with their transfer recruitment. I cannot put them any lower than this position. A lot of people will back them to go down, but some of their signings are absolutely brilliant. Will Vaux comes in from Sheffield Wednesday. Matt Phillips brings some experience from West Brom. You've also got Peter Kioso coming in from Rotherham. Jack Curry coming in from AFC Wimbledon. Idris El Mazouni signs for the football club as well from Ipswich. We know about Lewis Sibley. I spoke about him earlier on in today's video. They've recruited well in the loan market as well, with Dane Scarlett and Malcolm Ebiowe joining the football club on loan from Tottenham and Crystal Palace respectively. They did lose Josh Murphy to Portsmouth, which I do think is quite a blow, but apart from that, no real significant departures, which I think is very, very positive news as well. I think Oxford will be fine this season. I'm backing them to have a really solid first season back in the Championship, and I think they'll finish in 18th place. In 17th position, I'm going with the most 17th place position team the Championship has ever seen, Stoke City. They always finish 17th. They finished 17th last season. They were 6 points above the drop zone, and I don't think it's going to really get much better for them this season. I do like some of their signings, to be fair. Ben Gibson comes in from Norwich with a lot of experience. Victor Johansson was one of the best goalkeepers in the division last campaign. I'm not overly convinced by the signing of Sam Gallagher. Boston Lawal did really well with Fleetwood last season. I really do like that signing. They have lost Tyrese Campbell to Sheffield United, but apart from that, no real significant departures to note. I don't think their signings really wow and amaze me, and they're going to massively change their league position. I think it'll be a very similar season this year for the Potters, and I think they'll probably finish in 17th again. Before we go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. We are aiming for 50 likes on today's video, and don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, where do you think your team will finish next season, and let's move on to 16th. And in 16th position then, I have gone with Watford FC. Last season they finished in 15th and finished 6 points above the drop zone. I look at their transfer recruitment and I don't really see that changing all too much, to be fair. Musa Sissoko joins the football club, the former Tottenham Hotspur central midfielder. I feel like, did he used to play for Watford, or have I just completely made that one up? A lot of their recruitment comes from overseas, so I can't really comment on it all too much, but a lot of them are much younger players, which I think is positive news. In terms of their departures, they lost Ismail Kone to Marseille for apparently 12 million euros, which is obviously a very good fee to get in for a 22-year-old. Ashley Fletcher also left the football club Ben Hamer, but none of these departures are really too significant, to be fair. I think it's going to be another very, very similar season this year for Watford, and backing them to finish in 16th. In 15th place, I'm going with Portsmouth FC. Now, undoubtedly one of the biggest football clubs in this division, and a lot of people think they'll be down and around relegation, but John Mousinho built something special there last season, and they've only added further to that with their recruitment. I really like the experience that they've brought in, the likes of Matt Ritchie and Josh Murphy joining the football club. They've brought in some younger players who might necessarily have a point to prove, like Andre Dazelle, Jordan Williams. I do like the signing of the Danish fellow they've brought in, obviously from Denmark. Elias Sorensen scored on his debut against Leeds United, and I feel like Portsmouth are in for a really successful season this year. John Mousinho Mourinho is a brilliant manager for this division. I think they're not going to lose many games as well at Fratton Park, and I'm backing them for a 15th place finish, which I think for a first season back in the Championship, a lot of Pompey fans would definitely like that, and I also quite like Pompey as a football club. In 14th place, I'm going with Bristol City. Last season, they finished in 11th, and Bristol City have been mid-table in the Championship for how many years? It feels like they've been there throughout my whole entire lifetime, and I think they'll finish in 14th again on this occasion. I look at their recruitment, nothing really to stand out there, to be fair. Sinclair Armstrong joined from QPR. They do have quite a significant departure in Tommy Conway. He has joined fellow Championship side Middlesbrough for around €5 million, which is obviously quite a significant loss, but I don't think too much has changed really with their squad. I like Liam Manning as a manager, but I think it's probably just going to be another mid-table finish again this season for Bristol City. In 13th position then, and the final team in the bottom half, I've gone with Queen's Park Rangers. Last season they finished 6 points above the drop zone, and they've recruited a fair amount of players, to be fair. I think their first full season for Marti Cifuentes, and I think he's going to do really well there, in my personal opinion. I look at some of their signings, and I don't really know too many of them because a lot of their recruitment has been abroad, but I look at some of their departures, the likes of Chris Willock joining fellow Championship side Cardiff, Albert Adoma making that step down to Walsall. A lot of their players have made the step down, apart from Chris Willock and maybe Sinclair Armstrong. A lot of players have gone down, which tells you about the recruitment that they've done under Gareth Ainsworth. But for me personally, I think Queen's Park Rangers is going to be in for a pretty successful and solid season this year. I think they're going to be in and around mid-table, largely down to their manager. I think he did a really good job there last campaign, and I'm back in at QPR for a 13th place finish. In 12th position then, I've gone with Hull City, and again, this might be deemed as a little bit of an underachievement. Last season, they definitely underachieved. I've no idea how Liam Rosenior was in contention for manager of the season. I don't know too much about Tim Walter, who is their current first-team manager. Ryan Giles joins the football club. I think he spent last season on loan there, and then he went back to Middlesbrough, and it was a really weird move how he went somewhere and then went somewhere else and then came back but then signed for another club. It was really bizarre. But Ryan Giles is back at the football club. He's a very good Championship player. Charlie Hughes as well has joined from Wigan. A very good upcoming centre-half. Cody Drama has signed on a free transfer as well. In terms of their departures, they've had a few very significant ones. Jacob Greaves has made the step up into the Premier League with Ipswich. Jadon Philogene has returned back to Aston Villa. Ozan Tufan as well has also left the football club. I think they are going to be in for a little bit of a less successful season this year, in my personal opinion. I think Hull will be in and around mid-table. I think their squad is definitely weaker for me, so that is why I think Hull City will finish in 12th. In 11th position then, and maybe surprising a few people, I've gone with Cardiff City. Now last season they finished in 12th and had an okay end to the season, but I've been really impressed with their recruitment so far. Alex Robertson has signed from Manchester City. I think that's an unbelievable piece of business. He was excellent for Portsmouth last campaign in League One. Callum Chambers returns to the football club as well on a free transfer. They've also signed Anwar El Ghazi. Chris Willock I think is the pick of the bunch for me, and I'm really impressed with their transfer business. In terms of their departures, nothing really too significant apart from Ebu Adams joining fellow Championship side Derby County, but his time at Cardiff never really worked out since making that step up from Forest Green Rovers. They released players like Shea Ojo and Romain Sawyers, but again, nothing really too significant. I think Cardiff are in for a pretty solid season again at this campaign. I'm backing them to finish in 11th. After that then, we move on to 10th position, and I have gone with Sheffield United. Now, hear me out on this one, because a lot of people will back them to finish in the top 6. One, I'm not so sure Chris Wilder has still got it to be a successful manager. I think his time has kind of passed a little bit. He's not really been successful for a number of years now since Sheffield United finished in the top half of the Premier League. I've not seen too much from him as a manager in his few of the spells that he's had with the likes of Watford and all that sort of stuff. Their recruitment, don't get me wrong, has been absolutely excellent. The likes of Alfie Gilchrist, Harry Souter, even Jamie Shackleton all joined the football club. Then you've also got players who they've paid money for like Kiefer Moore, Michael Cooper, Harrison Burrows have been the pick of the bunch, and that's not mentioning the likes of Tyrese Campbell and Callum O'Hare. But think about how useless they were last season. They were arguably one of the worst Premier League sides we've ever seen. They needed to do this type of business to even be competitive in the Championship, because how terrible they were last season, there was maybe concerns that it might carry over into this season, but because Preston was so bad on the opening day, it was kind of understandable as to why they beat them. I still think there's more transfer business to be done. Losing Cameron Archer is quite significant, but I don't think they can really complain about any other player who has left the football club, because they're all useless last season. I think it massively depends on if Gustavo Hamer stays with the football club. I personally think he will leave, and that's why I think Sheffield United might be a little bit lower than making it into that top 6. If they do, I'll hold my hands up, but as of right now, I'm backing the Blades to finish in 10th. 10th. In 9th position, I'm going with Sunderland AFC. Now, there's no hiding that last season was a very disappointing campaign for the Black Cats. They finished in 16th and were only 6 points above the drop zone after making the playoffs in the previous campaign. I like some of their recruitment though, the likes of Aaron Brown, Ian Poveda joined the football club. Not really lost anyone too significant. Bradley Dacker's joined Gillingham, but he's been injured for the last 20 years really, hasn't he? Jack Diamond as well has left the football club, but on the whole, I don't think they can really complain about the players that they have lost. Jamie Tete, it's not really worked out for him since making that step up to Sunderland. I still think they're a few players away from really challenging for that top 6, maybe a more proven striker in my personal opinion. Last season didn't score the most amount of goals, just 52 goals is all that they scored at last campaign, so that's clearly where they need to improve going into this season. But on the whole, for me, I think Sunderland won't quite have enough to make it into that top 6, and right now I'm going in 9th. Before we go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. We are aiming for 50 likes on today's video, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. We're now on the road to 200 subscribers. Get your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below who do you think will be promoted and relegated from the Championship, and let's get into my top 8. In 8th position then, I have gone with Sheffield Wednesday. Now, Danny Röhl is the single reason why I think they will finish this high. Last season, they only just scraped relegation by 3 points, but how terrible were they under the previous managers like Xisco Munoz, people like that? They were absolutely useless. Danny Röhl came in, and goodness me, he is an absolutely incredible manager. I really like some of their signings. The likes of Jamal Lowe joined the football club on a free transfer. Max Lowe is one of the sneakiest men in football. I'm pretty sure he's played for Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby, Nottingham Forest. He's played for all of them. Ike Ugbo though, he signed for the club on a permanent transfer for around €3 million, which is massive for them. He was brilliant for them last campaign. They've not really lost anyone too significant. A few players who never really proved it or were getting on a little bit, the likes of Will Vaulks. You also saw the departures of Cameron Dawson, Tyreek Bakinson, George Byers, Reece James, Lee Gregory, for example. The average age of that squad has come down a little bit. They've got Malik Wilkes' wages off the wage bill, as well as he's joined Rotherham on loan. And I feel like Wednesday are in for a very successful season. Don't quite have enough for me at the moment to make it into that top 6, but don't be surprised if Danny Röhl's side do make it in there this season. In 7th position then, and just missing out on the playoffs, I have gone with Norwich City. Last season they managed to squeeze in and finish in 6th. This season though, I don't quite think they will have enough for that. I do like some of their signings, likes of Callum Doyle joined the football club on loan from Manchester City, and I don't know too much about the two players they paid money for who have come in from, I think he's at Bulgaria and Austria, something like that. I've no idea about them, but they're young players and they've paid a couple million for them, so they must be half decent. No real significant departures. Adam Ida has joined Celtic. You've also had Gabriel Sara joined Galatasaray, and they've got in some big money for them. If they spend some of this money that they've got, then I could maybe see them challenging for the top 6. As of right now though, I don't quite see them making it to the playoffs this season, and I do have them just about missing out in 7th place. Moving on then into my playoff positions. In 6th place, I have gone with Leeds United. Obviously last season finished in 3rd, accumulated 90 points and missed out in the playoff final in the most typical Leeds United fashion ever. They brought back Joe Rodon to the football club, which is massive. He was brilliant for them last season. They brought in Joe Rothwell in on loan as well from Bournemouth, but apart from that, they've not really done much business. They brought in a 3rd choice goalkeeper in Alex Cairns, and Jayden Bogle, who I don't personally rate whatsoever, and they paid about £5 million for him, which I think is bizarre. Their departures though, goodness me, they've got a lot of money into the football club, but they needed to. Archie Gray's gone for about 40 mil, Somerville's gone for about 25-30 mil, Sinisterra's gone for about 20-25 million, Kamara's gone for about 10 million, Rocker's gone for about 3 or 4, Cresswell the same, Lorente they've got about 2-3 million for. They lost a few on free transfers as well, the likes of Robin Koch, Cody Drama, for example. They've had a hell of a lot of departures. That's not even including likes of Shackleton, Ayling, Poveda. Then they've also let some players go out on loan like Christiansen, Greenwood, Giabi, Perkins. There's a lot of players who have left the club. Even the captain Liam Cooper as well, he's departed. I just don't think they've got enough strength in depth at the moment. They need to spend some of this money, but I don't think they can because of financial fair play. I think Leeds are in a little bit of trouble. They've lost some of their best players. Patrick Bamford is going to be leading the line for them this season. Rutter is probably going to Brighton. I think they're in a lot of trouble this season at Leeds. I still think they'll manage to scrape over the line in 6th position. I don't really rate Daniel Farke as a manager. I don't think he's got enough about him in terms of system system and tactics. He relies too much on individuals, in my personal opinion. I still think they'll make the top 6 though. There's enough quality in that side to make the top 6, but I think it'll be just about. I think it'll be very close if they do actually make it. In 5th position then, I am going with West Bromwich Albion. I am putting 99.9% of this down to Carlos Corberán. He's an absolutely unbelievable manager. I look at their recruitment and I don't know too much about a lot of their players, to be fair. Devante Cole used to play for my team, Bradford City. Did well with Barnsley last season, but I don't think he's going to be any good, to be honest with you. They did lose at Brandon Thomas Asante. He signed for Coventry for about $2.5 million, which I think he wasn't really great for West Brom, but I think he could actually do quite well under Mark Robins. Okay, Yukashlu as well has gone back over to Turkey for about £1.5 million, which is quite a significant loss. And Connor Townsend has made a step up into the Premier League with Ipswich. Lost a few players on free transfers, some of the more experienced ones like Nathaniel Chalobah, Yann Vila, Matt Phillips as well, but nothing really too significant. They're about a similar sort of squad ability as where they were last season. They've got an unbelievable manager, one of the best in the division, so I think I'm going to back them for a top 5 finish. In 4th position then, I'm going with Middlesbrough FC. They seem to have a season of finishing in the playoffs and a season just finishing outside it. I'm backing them this season though to make it into the top 4 as well. I like some of their signings, the likes of Tommy Conway joining from Bristol City, Micah Hamilton joins from Manchester City as well. They brought back Luke Hale into the football club on a permanent transfer. They did lose Paddy McNair. He's gone over to the United States. Liam Roberts also left the club, but nothing really too significant in terms of departures. They've only improved on their squad. They only just finished outside the playoffs last season in 8th. They were 4 points off the playoffs. I think with some of their signings, they'll definitely be able to get in to the top 6 this season. I'm actually backing them for a top 4 finish. I do quite like as well Michael Carrick as a manager. He's there until 2027, so definitely there for the long term. And I think Middlesbrough, I think they'll do quite well this season. I'm going to put them to finish in 4th. In 3rd position then, I'm going with Luton Town. They relegated last season, I think on the final day, just by the skin of their teeth, and they have lost a few of their better players last season. The significant one is Ross Barkley, who's joined Aston Villa for around £5 million. Luke Berry as well, he's been there for a while. He's joined Charlton. Gabriel Ojo, he was there, he played quite a lot there last season. He's gone over to France. Dion Pereira is somehow still with the football club. I remember when he was with my team, Bradford City, he's gone out on loan to Dagenham. They've let go a few of their younger players, the likes of Admiro Musgrave and Elliot Thorpe as well. They're both still free agents, and also John McAtee has joined Bolton on a permanent basis. Their recruitment hasn't been amazing so far. Ruel Walters joins from Arsenal's under-21s, and Chandon Baptiste joins from Brentford. On the whole though, for me, I think Luton will have a successful this season with Rob Edwards in charge. I think they're going to galvanise their squad once again to go one better this season and hopefully try and get back up into the Premier League. I think they'll finish in the playoffs, and I'm going with 3rd. In 2nd position, and the first team who I think will be definitely guaranteed promotion into the Premier League this season, I'm going with Coventry City. Mark Robins is an absolutely unbelievable manager, and they've reduced the average age of their squad. The likes of Matty Godden, Simon Moore and Liam Kelly are also leaving the football club. Callum O'Hare is a significant departure, but he's had a lot of injuries and his performances weren't the most consistent. I look at some of their signings though. I do like the signing of Jack Radoni. He comes in from Huddersfield for around £5.5 million, something like that. I don't quite think he'll be a natural replacement for O'Hare, but I think he could certainly produce a similar amount of goal contributions, and he's 3 years younger as well. Brandon Thomas Asante, I'm not entirely convinced on, but if there is a manager to get the best out of him, I would certainly back Mark Robins to be that man. And I don't know too much about Lewis Binks or Oliver Dovin, who have come in from Italy and Sweden respectively. On the whole though, for me, I think it'll be a really successful year this season for Coventry. They've been building and building and building. This year is a time where I think they'll actually manage to get over the line, not just in the playoffs though. I'm backing them to get automatically promoted into the Premier League and winning the Championship title. In my personal opinion, I've gone with Burnley FC. They're going to be like the Norwich, the Fulhams of years gone by, where they'll win the Championship, they'll easily get promoted, and then they'll come straight back down because they're not ready for the Premier League. Scott Parker had some good spells as a manager, also had some interesting spells as a manager. I actually personally quite like him. I know that's not the most popular of opinions. They've spent quite a lot of money, to be fair. Mike Trezor's come in for around 18 million euros. Maxime Esteve as well, he's coming for 12 million euros as well. They've not really had too many significant departures apart from today, with Wilson Odobert joining Tottenham Hotspur for around 27 million pounds, something like that. Muric as well has made a step back up into the Premier League with Ipswich for around 8 million million. But apart from that, no real significant transfer business in terms of incomings or outgoings. Jack Cork left the football club and he's been there for a long time, but they've still got a lot of their decent players from last season, so I think again it will be another successful one for them this year, and I'm backing Burnley to win the league and be promoted back up into the Premier League. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 50 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 200 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already, with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below, who do you think will be relegated, who do you think will be promoted, and how do you think your team will get on next season? Where do you think they will finish? Thank you all for watching, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.